And a very pleasant good day. My name is Owen McCafferty. I'm speaking thanks to the kindness of Professional Fusion. And I want to just express my own personal gratitude. As you know, our topics are varied, and we're lucky today because we have in our midst a guest who I've known for multiple decades, who's had quite a bit of experience in the topic area of technology as it relates to the evolution of veterinary medicine. And we're going to bring in different accomplished doctors in many of the different disciplines on this channel to bring their views that could be different. And it's the Socratic exchange that I find is the most interesting. Not a Ciceronian narrative, but rather somewhat of a Senecan discussion. So I'd like to introduce you to my very good friend and a very accomplished doctor of veterinary medicine, Dr. Chris Meehl.
Well, hello.
Chris, how are you?
Good. It's always good to see you.
Oh, good to see you. Chris, the topic that we would like to focus towards is one that you've lived daily, God, over the last 30 years. And that is how technology has evolved within veterinary medicine and then what the acceptance has been. So the first question I'd like to pose to you is, do you see a greater willingness on the part of doctors to embrace technology in the day-to-day activities of their practice?
Yes, Owen, and for better and for worse. So as you recall, we would comment that it's always a point of discomfort in the course of a professional encounter when we find ourselves in an exam room and the doctor is interacting with a screen and a keyboard and failing to focus their attention on the patient and client that is in front of them. So,
well, but Chris, just maybe putting a finer point on it, 30 years ago, so let's just look back together, that would be about 1995, which really isn't that long ago.
Correct.
In terms of how our memory, but in 1995, we had just gone through the emergence of technology relating to laboratory diagnostics, if you remember.
Mm-hmm.
We'd already gone through the great debate. Should we use an automatic processor for x-rays, or should we continue to hand dip them? We had gone through, and there's been some reiterations of the disk operating systems going from CPM to an IBM PC format to some sort of database management like DBase. Do you remember DBase?
I do remember DBase, yes.
And even on spreadsheet programs going from VisiCalc to SuperCalc to Lotus 123 to the present iterations. I don't want to bore everybody with what we have with Excel. So in going through that, can you trace through in your own experiences and those of your friends how they embrace that technology medically and financially?
The applications have been better, more appropriately suited to financial transactions and applications that distill down to dollars and cents. The challenge I always butt my head up against is the challenge of having technology be effective in its interface with people, as opposed to efficient. Mm-hmm. And we always seem to fall into the trap of a perpetual quest for efficiency. And we do so to our peril in terms of our interface with our clientele. When we choose to be efficient with them, our effectiveness plummets. So therein lies the challenge. So I think that the successful applications of technology in the future are going to be those that find the proper balance of efficiency and effectiveness and marry that application. And in doing so, never failing to lose track of the importance of the therapeutic encounter. Never, ever, ever. So on the one hand, I'm wanting to banish the computers from the exam room. However, that is a statement filled with folly. I'm not quite sure what the right word is there. Oh, and you might know, but it's an unrealistic statement because we're in the medical profession, and the medical profession is has at its foundation the proper application of technology. But there's a marriage to be applied and a balance to be struck in the humane and effective application of these technologies. So,
Chris, what I was seeing was that there was always this quest for the best and the most current, which really froze a lot of practices from getting any economic benefit. So
yes.
technology would exist, they'd learn a little bit about it, then all of a sudden there would be an update, or there would be a newer technology, and then it was kind of like chasing that brass ring as the merry-go-round went around. They really didn't accomplish much because they were constantly jumping for something newer.
Yeah, the merry-go-round vendors of the world were able to cash in on the brass ring business.
Right.
And the narrative.
So what do you think we learned for bringing technology into practice today? So going back and looking at what you've done and drawing on the vast experience, how would you adopt technology in the year 2024 to a small animal practice, which you had, and the small animal practice, let's say, grossing $2.5 million, 3 doctors, technicians, some kenneling activities, and daycare?
I would encourage the doctors and the staff to recognize the importance of the relationship with their clientele and the importance of having face-to-face communication with their clients. Certainly the virtual encounter with the client has, as it should, an appropriate application and deployment. However, the underpinnings of effective encounters between a client and a doctor of veterinary medicine has its underpinnings in trust. And trust is not a commodity to be purchased or vended. It is a matter of substance that is to be earned. And I'm saying a mouthful here because it's incumbent.
It's very prophetic.
But it's incumbent upon the client to recognize that commitment on the part of the veterinarian and to understand it on some intuitive levels. They accept it and take that for granted, but those assumptions can be misplaced too, because the client may be nothing more than a taker in terms of their psychological makeup, and they may be unworthy of being the client of this esteemed doctor that is honest and credible, genuine, and caring. That may be a very foreign concept to a client, but in all manners of caring certainly in the caring professions and in most effective and valuable encounters, whether it's be education or an encounter with a doctor of medicine or veterinary medicine or dentistry, there needs to be this trusting relationship. And that and of course, in that trust, you want to bring the technology in. I certainly want to go to a dentist who is highly effective in willing to use the best and the utmost of dental technologies for my benefit.
I think that's a great point, Chris. Great point. Well, I want to thank you very much for your time. We have a process where we want to set up little vignettes of ideas, conceits, if you will, and allow our viewing colleagues and compatriots to have a chance to think about things and then possibly adapt them into practice.
Mm-hmm.
So with that, I want to say thank you very much, Dr. Meehl. This is Owen McCafferty, and I will hope to see everybody in just a little bit. Bye-bye.